everyone. So, I don't know if you have been paying attention to the NYC Mayoral Debate, the primaries, the Democratic primaries of the debate, but debate 2 was on ABC, and it was only on ABC on TV for an hour, and then the rest of it you had to live stream by 8 o'clock. So I watched both. I watched everything, and let's just say some people's debate performances I was surprised at. Some I expected to deliver, and the other I was just disappointed. Well, we all know it's clear as day that Andrew Yang, Sean Donovan, Scott Stringer, and Ray McGuire are not ready for primetime. And whose debate performance I was pretty shocked at, even though she held her own the last debate, was Morales. She kept it to the policy, even though she's battling her own stuff, but she kept it to policy. Hey, Kay, how you doing? Catherine Garcia did much better than she did the last debate. And of course, Eric Adams was consistent, and he remained consistent. Who I was disappointed, and people gonna get mad, but you gotta tell the truth. The truth has to be told. Maya Wiley. I understand her last, endorsements was appealing to the left. She's supposed to be the intersectional candidate, but it's just like at this point her debate performance was disappointing. She was talking over her time, she was just charging, and I understand in a debate you're supposed to have respectful disagreements, but it came to the point where it was a little too abrasive for me. Even though there was somebody else I'm about to get to that was abrasive, but it came off as a little abrasive. I mean, if no one is really gunning for you like that, even though you gotta raise your point level, if no one is gunning for you, that particular person ain't gunning for you, why be in bother? Because you guys in the same battle as Ray McGuire when it comes to constituents, because Ray McGuire also criticized her as well on her policy stance. In terms of defunding police, there was a poll from the Pix 11 poll, basically saying defund the police is not going to work here. So this is a news to the leftists that are gentrified from Iowa and from Wisconsin and shit. This message is for y'all. New York City is not the most progressive city as you think it is. It's multicultural, yes. But in terms of law enforcement and other policies, it's not as left as people think it is. 53% of New Yorkers do not want the police to be defunded. They want it more so to be reformed than defunded. I'm one of those. I want it to be reformed. Honestly, if anything you want to get rid of, you want to abolish police unions. And the first person to get from the police union is Patrick Lynch. Because he's been a problem since the beginning of time, since I was young. That's like over 20 years he's been a problem. So that's the first person you need to come at. But in my opinion, and I said it in my tweet, who have done well in the debates this evening was Morales, Adams, Garcia. Well, Garcia was medium. Donovan was annoying. Lukewarm was Maya. And the rest of the three suck. Now in terms of Scott Stringer. Scott Stringer is a DSA-backed candidate. So a lot of his talking points was derived from the DSA talking points. He tried to impose those both on Maya Wiley, which I don't understand why she keeps catering to the left when they keep coming for her, and all her comments, they keep bashing her. And of course, Eric Adams, who is the front runner and the current front runner. The thing is, both Adams and Wiley both tag team, but they both got him. But Adams is the one that basically shut his ass down and said, you was there with me in the federal court testifying against stop and frisk. Stringer overall debate performance was ignorant, it was abrasive, and it was just cringy to watch. And I know I'm not the only one that felt that way. And I know he is the backup DSA candidate besides Morales that white progressives in particular in New York, the ones that are not originally from New York, want to see advance in the race. But guess what? It's not going to happen because black people show up to primaries. Black and older Hispanic, older black people and older Hispanics, let's correct that, show up to primaries. Not that many young people. So catering to young people is going to be an uphill battle because they are so caught up in their own lives. They're not even thinking about primary day. They're not even thinking about early voting. They're not. So I don't know why Wiley is trying to play to a base that don't care about her, but I'm going to give her this advice because she still got a little bit of time. The way Morales was treated, even though she was not the best, boss, whatever, in her campaign, don't know what was going on, but the way she was treated by white progressives that supported her and that worked for her, it's the same way Maya will be treated if she keeps catering to these jackasses. Morales kind of effed around and found out, and I don't want that to happen to Maya because I have a feeling that might happen to her because it's already in a one comment section is she's pretty much she's done. That's what somebody on the left said, and they say they're going for Scott Stringer or Andrew Yang. And progressives, they not actually attacking Andrew Yang, they're actually siding with him. So he's benefiting from that shit too. Either way. So Maya, if I were you, I would listen to black people my age and up, cater to the older folks, the older black and the older Latino folks, not these gentrified white folks, because they're not going to bring you to victory. They're not. At the end of the day, they will not vote for you because they're not for you. People that look like me, we're for you. We want to see you win. So take that advice. Now getting to the Eric Adams and Andrew Yang exchange, which everybody wanted to see. People thought that Andrew Yang won that exchange. Andrew Yang tried to ask Eric Adams about ranking choice, which he was against it, which Eric Adams was like, he wasn't against ranked choice, and he did not know who he wanted to rank first and foremost. Because, like Nina Turner said, voting is private. But either way, he was not going to say anything because Diane Morales didn't say anything. The rest of them avoided that question. The only ones that avoided that did not avoid that question was Sean Donovan, Ray McGuire, and Maya Wiley. And the interesting part of Maya Wiley, getting back to, is that she ranked Diane Morales, but Morales ain't ranked nobody. I mean, you kind of should have kept that to yourself and try to be the modest person, because if nobody's saying you're not their second choice and you're not speaking their language, why still continue to support them? I have no idea. But yeah, I don't like this ranking system neither. I just spoke to my mother on the phone. She hates it. She hates it and I hate it. It's too many fucking candidates. That's another thing. And it's not just the mayor race. I got to worry about the DA race because I live in Manhattan. I got to worry about the borough president. And then I got to worry about the city council person. That's too much fucking people to worry about. I'm just saying. And it's not like it's one person. It's multiple of people. Like multiple of people. I got to worry about the borough president I got to worry about. So I got to worry about like 5 positions. It's just annoying. It's annoying. His ranking system is it's booty and it's trash, but he did not criticize the ranking system. And also, but what really was interesting when Mr. Bald President Adams pretty much pointed out what Errol Lewis pointed out last week in terms of Andrew Yang not voting in local elections here in New York, which he ain't voting none of them. He left during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, when we was going through our shit. And if it wasn't for the governor, there would have been 1 million people dead in New York, because that's what was projected. Adams basically said, what the hell are you doing running as the mayor when you don't vote in the local elections? The only thing you discover NYCHA, you discover all these agencies, but where were you? And why are you running in this race? And I agree. Why is Andrew Yang, and not just him, why Ray McGuire is running in this race? Even Scott Stringer, why are you running in this race when you wasn't even a good controller? Honestly, I always thought he was a shitty ass politician, in my opinion. As a kid, I never liked his press, old, saggy looking ass face. I never liked him anyway. But why are these people running in this race? Knowing good and damn well they don't deserve it. They don't. And Andrew Yang got a lot of support, unfortunately, that's online. He doesn't really have on-the-ground support here in the city. Who actually has that support is actually Adams. That's why everybody went full shit on when it came to the lightning round of questions on Adams, because Adams is still number one. And you kind of give him that reason to stay number one, because he remained composed. He had good temperament, like Garcia, and even Morales had good temperament. And he seemed like he's ready day one. Out of the men, he's the only one getting ranked, in my opinion. As much as Wiley pissed me off, I'm ranking her. She's not going to be number one, but I'm ranking her. And I'll rank Garcia. And possibly I'll rank Morales. But the only man that's ready for day one to take this city by storm is Adams. Shanti, he was a cop, he was this, he was that. Leadership is important. Temperament is important. Fixing the city around is important. And Adams have that. Donovan keep mentioning his Obama legacy stuff. Let's see. Ray McGuire gives me Bloomberg vibes. We all know Yang is stupid. And Stringer is just cringy and everything under the sun. Disgusting. So in my eyes, I can see Adams winning this thing. Possibly winning this thing. People say Garcia is second in line, but I see Adams kind of like winning. The way the trajectory is going, it might be him. Because leftist politics in New York is not going to work. Especially when older black people go to the polls and they bring their people. Yeah, McGuire is not even reaching 5% in the polls. Just because he got endorsed by celebrities and Eric Garner's mother, that don't mean shit. It's how you are on the ground moving. And the only one that's on the ground moving, talking to people, is Adams. And even Garcia. And I could say Morales. Even though she got her problems. But they on the ground moving. And Sean Donovan trying to get the black preachers on board ain't working either. Because nobody don't really care for Mr. Youngblood. That's all I'm saying. But that's my rap. But I also want to talk about... He wanted me to talk about Cinema and Joe Manchin. Honestly, I'm tired of hearing about them. I had enough. So whatever the wind blows, the wind blows. But it seems like, but the main problem I always say is Manchin more than Cinema. Because even though Cinema getting on my nerves when it comes to this filibuster thing, who really is pressing my nerves is Manchin. Because Manchin seems like he doesn't agree with nothing. At least Cinema has the decency, the headspace here to vote for human rights stuff and statehood and all that shit. Only thing, she don't want to get rid of that filibuster, and she don't want to increase the minimum wage. But other than that, all the other shit when it comes to, fucking, the voter rights bill in the Senate, she actually is a co-sponsor of that bill. So the human rights stuff, I'll give it to her. But trust me, she will actually, you could actually get through to her more than you can get through to them other knuckleheads. But anyway, I am so tired of John McCain's daughter trying to clean up her vitriol for being a benefiting from white supremacy. I've done the work. No. Because on The View today, she claimed, I've done the work. I've done the work. And we've been doing the work all summer last year. Hold on. Just because you have not as many black friends and you talk to your coworker about racism doesn't mean you've done the work. You actually sat there and listened. You didn't really do the work. Because if you'd done the work, you wouldn't criticize the 1619 project. You wouldn't. You wouldn't have as much vitriol that you have for the vice president. Right? Meghan McCain, honestly, is full of it. Like I said, she's unqualified to be a co-host of a groundbreaking show that has diverse minds. There are other conservative women in the Republican Party that could be sitting there. And Anna Navarro is one of them. Tara Setmeyer is one of them. I can even put S.E. Cupp, even though she get on my nerves, as one of them. And Amanda Carpenter. I can actually see 4 of them sitting there than Meghan McCain. Meghan McCain has no experience in politics besides being the daughter of a senator. The only campaign she worked on was her father's campaign, and she wasn't even there for that long because Steve Schmidt and Nicole Wallace used to work for that campaign, and they had to sit her down. That's why she got so much hatred in her heart for them two. Quiet as a cat. In terms of her husband, who works for the Federalist, he's just as stupid as her, and he's riding the coattails of her name. That's why I call him Mr. Meghan McCain, aka Mr. Overweight version of the Bob the Builder, Mr. Lumberjack fat guy. Yes, he looks old for his age. He's a 39-year-old man that looks like a 55-year-old man. And another thing with the Obama administration. I want Meghan McCain to keep the Obama administration and keep the Obama legacy out of her mouth. Because your father would never have made a great president. He would have been governing this country like Ronald Reagan. And you know how that was. That Ronald Reagan era was not fun. So nobody wanted your daddy, besides the Karens, wanted your daddy to become the president of the United States. I knew he wasn't going to get popularity. He won his own party, had issues with John McCain. He didn't even get the Bush blessing. He didn't. But back to Meghan McCain. I'm going to make this plain and simple. Meghan McCain is not qualified for the job. She has no skill set. All she do is run her mouth. And she's a daughter of a high-profile politician. And a millionaire heiress. a businesswoman. She is not knowledgeable when it comes to politics. All she do is spew rhetoric from her husband and all the other stuff she hears in right-wing politics. So she is not qualified to be on our airwaves. You got a problem with me saying that? You can kiss my behind. And that goes for people like Nikki Haley too. She's not qualified for the job. Not at all, not ever. But let me just also finish. This is my last topic before I, get myself together. Brianna Gray's losing Patreon. She just went from 700 subscribers at 30,000 a month, and it's going to keep going down further and further. Because why? Because Brianna Gray, for the last 5.5 years, has been a hot-ass mess. Kept trolling other Democrats, black Democrats, stomping for the white bro socialists and their unwashed female counterparts. She's been nothing but nasty during the campaign season and disrespected then Senator, now Vice President, deceased mom. People like that I have no respect for. But the difference is I am not going to name call her. However, I will always read the dog shit out of her because of who she is. And she keeps hanging out with these unwashed bro socialists and their female counterparts. She's going to become unwashed. She's already becoming less relevant because she can't book a job. So just imagine right now how shit is looking for her. I hope she can afford that rent in D.C. because D.C. rent is just as high as New York rent. Is that all you, girl? Like I said, apply for affordable housing. I'm pretty sure they got it in D.C. Or better yet, go back to North Carolina and live with your mama. And stop being a hateful person. You're too hateful. I don't understand it. Like, I want to know who hurt you. I really want to know who hurt you in your life, who hurt you on your jobs, who hurt you in your personal life. Girl, who hurt you? I want to know. You're always so goddamn angry. You're more angry than Jason Johnson. And I expect him to be a Debbie Downer. And even, I think he's a great person. But you, Bree? Girl. There's nobody holding you at night? Anybody? You need to be held. I think you need to be held more and you'll be all right. You'll be fine. You will be fine. But until then, folks, I hope you have a great night. Be safe. And if you live in New York, please make sure you have your umbrella. It's supposed to be raining for the next 2 days. Shockingly, he didn't block me. But like I said, I have no problem with Jason. What I do have a problem with is the fact is that, he's just a Debbie Downer. But I don't have a problem with him. I necessarily don't have a problem with him at all. I think he's very smart. He might be a nice guy. I didn't have a bad conversation with him. It's just the fact that he's just a Debbie Downer. That's all. Just a goddamn Debbie Downer. But I'm out of here. I'm exiting out. You guys have a good night. No, he didn't block me.